कि जब मैंने पहली बार सोचा होगा लाइफ में कि मुझे एक्टर बनना है, तो तब मैंने सोचा था मुझे हीरो बनना है। तो मैंने एक्टर नहीं सोचा था। वो ग्लैमर।
In today's Bollywood culture, narratives sell almost as much as films do. Nepotism, outside status, box office redemption arcs, all of it feeds the machinery that turns actors into national obsessions. And few actors have mastered this better than Kartik Aaryan. Once a young, naive boy with a 6-minute monologue and no industry godfathers, he has now transformed into the poster child of the outsider dream, the self made star who's here to challenge the Nepo kids. Or so his PR team would like us to believe. But scratch beneath the surface, and the Kartik Aaryan story reveals something trickier and frankly more frustrating. It's not a tale of disruption or rebellion, it's the marketing of mediocrity wrapped in struggle sold as sincerity. And the audiences, well, we're all just supposed to root for him because poor guy, right? No contacts, just dreams. But how long can a repetitive filmography, limited range, and excessive image building survive on sympathy alone? Over a decade into the industry, no one expects an actor to just keep on doing the same thing. One expects an actor to experiment, challenge themselves, or at least diversify a little. But Karthik seems comfortable sitting in the same creative seat even as the theatre around him changes. In Luka Chupi, he plays the innocent small town guy trying to navigate a modern relationship. In Pati Patni Aur Wo, he again plays a clueless man child torn between a dull marriage and a hot co worker. In Love Ajkal, he attempted a dual role that demanded more depth, and the result was a charisma vacuum. In Shehzada, he tried to recreate the massy Telugu energy of Alu Arjun but ended up cosplaying instead of acting. Sure, there was Freddy, a darker role with a psychologically twisted character, but even that felt less like a breakthrough and more like a checkbox. Look, I can also do this, I can do serious roles too. The performance was passable, but the film thinly written and instantly forgettable. Time and time again, I think Karthik picks characters that don't require much beyond exaggerated expressions and surface level emotions. The minute he's asked to go deeper, the cracks show, and yet the narrative remains. Look at how far he's come.
मैं ये वाली ऑडियंस भी मेरे पास हो, ये भी हो, वो भी हो। मैं सबको केटर करना चाहता हूँ। मैं बस प्यार का भूखा हूँ।
Now let's talk about Karthik's most consistent performance, the public image. There's no denying that his PR team is working overtime and frankly doing a stellar job. Every interview now includes the routine reminders he came to Mumbai with no backing, slept on floors, gave endless interviews, lived off vada paos, etc. etc. Every airport video, every fan interaction, every social media post is part of this curated machine designed to position him as this humble, grateful outsider who's finally made it. And so far, I would like to think that it's working. Audiences love an underdog, especially one who plays that part 24/7. But when that underdog status becomes a crutch, a mask for the lack of artistic growth, it starts to feel a little bit hollow. What's worse, I think, in this case, is that this outsider narrative is often wielded as a shield against any form of critique. He's not an Nepo kid, let him be. At least he's trying to do something different. But is he? The PR strategy also often includes subtle and sometimes not so subtle jabs at the bigwigs. Karan Johar dropped him from Dostana too. The internet was flooded with Karan Johar bullying outsiders again stories. Never mind that Karthik himself had creative differences on multiple projects. The PR spin is always he's being targeted because he's not from the industry. This victimhood branding protects him from scrutiny even when the films are made and the performances are sadly mediocre.
ये है कि मैं चाहता हूँ मेरी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम ही ना हो, लेकिन अगर मेरी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो ना, तो उसकी लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। एंड बुलशिट शी इज वरीड यार, उसे तो सेलिब्रेट करना चाहिए बिकॉज़ इजंट दिस एग्जैक्टली व्हाट शी वांट्स। सीरियसली यार, आजकल तो जब वो मुंह खोलती है मन करता है मुंह में कुछ फूट दूं।
One of Bollywood's biggest red herrings is the binary of nepotism versus outsider, as though that's the only battle worth fighting. It's not. The bigger problem is when talent and effort take a backseat to marketing, no matter your background. Kartik Aaryan benefits from this binary immensely. He's not an advocate, true, but he's also not exactly the revolutionary he's made out to be. He's not breaking the mold. He's not telling new stories, he's not pushing cinematic boundaries. He's just functioning within the same old Bollywood formula but with a different origin story. Compare this with someone like Rajkumar Rao or even Ayushmann Khurrana in their earlier films, outsiders who brought new energy, took storytelling risks, and weren't afraid to look unglamorous or deeply flawed. Karthik, on the other hand, wants to be the massy hero, the lover boy icon, the box office safe bet, all while draping himself in the shawl of struggler. He's not challenging the system, he's simply asking for a seat at the table. And now that he finally has it, he's doing what the system has always done, selling loud, colorful, half baked stories with big posters and bigger promises. Here's the real problem: Kartik Aaryan's brand of mediocrity is being marketed as preservance. Subpar films like Shahzada and Love Aajkal are being sold as passion projects. The bar is so low that a halfway decent performance in Freddy is treated like a masterclass. Bhool Bhulaiya 2, as a spiritual sequel no one asked for, is declared a game changer, not because of its content, but because it earned more money in a dry year. But money doesn't equal merit now, does it? And struggle doesn't equal skill. At some point, the audience needs to stop confusing the underdog branding with underutilized potential. Because here's the truth: Karthik isn't bad, he's just average. Consistently average. And that's okay. Not every actor needs to be Irfan Khan. But the problem arises when average is being pushed as extraordinary just because it came with a sob story. Bollywood loves a hero, and Karthik's team has crafted one, not in his films, but in his real life. A man fighting the odds, navigating a Nepo infested jungle, just smiling for selfies. It's great PR, but it's not great cinema. Now, to be very clear, Kartik Aaryan's journey is admirable. Coming from nowhere, building a career without a surname, surviving a cutthroat industry, that takes guts. But admiration for the journey shouldn't become a substitute for critical thinking about the destination. An actor doesn't need or deserve applause just for existing outside the nepotism club. He earns it by pushing boundaries, surprising the audiences, taking creative leaps. So far, Kartik Aaryan has chosen comfort over challenge, branding over bravery, and image over integrity. If he wants to be taken seriously as more than just a PR success story, the next act of his career needs to be about craft, not just survival. Because right now his struggle may be real, but so is the mediocrity, and no amount of glossy photo shoots or underdog interviews can change that. Kartik Aaryan is not Bollywood's next big thing. He's just the latest product of a factory that now sells struggle as style and sadly mediocrity as merit.